to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Bounders Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, Saints get a win. That was much needed. It was by the hardest. Needed 39 points in the ball game and an historic performance from Taysom Hill, but they needed it and they got it. So we'll talk plenty about that here today. As should be a busy Monday. Brian Kelly will meet with the media later today to start preparing for the trip to Gainesville. No rest for the weary in the SEC, man. You better be ready to rip and roll because, man, one week begets another in this league. But great to see. There we go. One quick share, y'all. My apologies. Okay. There we go. Got that shared out. All right, we'll say some good mornings here. The Saints game yesterday was that so needed for this team. Got off to a pretty good start. Saints got the opening kickoff and drove down and kicked a field goal. We got to see Alvin Kamara, which looked like a healthy Alvin Kamara again. Taysom Hill, of course, was the story, but right after you take the 3-0 lead, you allow DK Metcalf the 50-yard catch and run for the touchdown. So you're down 7-3, and then they get the field goal to go up 10-3. And then Taysom started on his tear. He had the 8-yard touchdown run. Then off the turnover, you got it right back, and then you scored to go up 17-10. And it felt like right before half you were going to go get points. It was 17-13 after they kicked the field goal, and it's right there before half, and you're playing the 2-minute offense trying to go get points, and Kamara fumbles, man, and it has been nauseating to watch this team's inability to hold on to the football. And so you have a huge swing. Instead of getting points before half, you fumble, and they throw the touchdown pass to Lockett, with less than 10 seconds to go in the half, and all of a sudden now you're down. You were knocking on the door of being up maybe 2 scores at half and having to give them the ball. And instead, turnover, they get a touchdown, they're up 19-17, and they get the ball to start the second half. But, the defense for the third quarter came out and played really well. Olave scored, was knocked unconscious. If y'all watched the play, it was I don't know. It was that my grandfather turned 90 on Friday, and so we had a party for him yesterday. So we were actually the game at my parents' house, and I was sitting right there with my cousin, and they're like, "Oh, is his thumb?" Because when he went up, I was like, "No, he went unconscious." Like they slammed his head on the ground, he went unconscious. Then when you saw the replay over and over again, it was like, "Yeah, look." So he'll be in the concussion protocol. Don't know when he'll be available, but thank God for the rule change. Saints challenged it, and it went their way, because in the Dez Cowboys Packers playoff game, that wasn't a catch. So forever we had this question in the NFL: what is a catch? Well, it felt like they got that one right. He had possession. He was in the end zone with possession of the ball. Like, that's a touchdown. So anyway, I know Dennis Allen explained afterwards that he felt like they had 3 feet, and so 3 feet, is like a football move. So in the end zone, that's a touchdown. So good challenge. Saints go up. Then touchdown pass to Troutman. That was Taysom Hill to Troutman, which was really cool to see them finally use the pass action with Taysom. And nice to see Troutman get a touchdown as well. He had a drop early in the game, and he's a guy that we pull forward, really want to see do well, because it's such an important position in this offense. But good to see Troutman. So the Saints were up 31-19, and of course Seattle rallied. Lockett caught the long touchdown pass, and then Kenneth Walker busted the 69-yard run, and all of a sudden you're down again. But Taysom busted off a 60-yarder. I mean, it was just his day. So awesome to see. Glad that guy was on our team. So Saints win 39-32 in a game they desperately had to get, and they got. So I would say some good mornings. You'll fire away. Kyle DeVille, good morning. Kelly Gross, Ryan Amanda Guidry, Brian Wynn, Quentin Breakbill, Dad, good morning. Craig, dude, guy, you're so stupid. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Madman McMahon was on the streets. Screaming basketball school, got it. Bill Warren G, I got it. Michael Adams, what's up? Let's see, he said, let's talk LSU bounce back from Saturday's loss. Will we recover? Yeah, man, listen, Michael. I know we sometimes exist in a silo when games like that happen, and we react to the result. But like, this is how the season was always going to go. And I am going to talk about this on AFR, so I'll give you all a little heads up to it. I went back and listened to Brian Kelly's post-game press conference, and I'm going to count how many times he says we have to coach better. And there was two reasons why this was, I thought, important. Because in that post-game press conference, he went to great lengths not to criticize his players. He went to great lengths not to throw them under the bus. But one of the things he said is, we're playing the best guys we got. And like, again, with the muff kickoff at the beginning, you're not throwing Jack under the bus, but we all saw it, right? He talked about how they switched sides because the ball fell off the tee because of the wind, so a guy had to come up and hold the ball, and they brought the guy from a certain side, so they knew they weren't kicking to that side, so they're kicking to the other side, so they told Jack, get to the other side, because they wanted Besh over there because he's the best guy they got, and it was a short kick. He ran up and couldn't handle it, muffed it when, they got the recovery. On the 58-yard return, he mentioned we outkicked our coverage, and said there was a player who kind of left his lane, had a chance, couldn't get it. He goes, he's the best guy we got. He wouldn't mention the name of the player. So there's times where he said, like, he's mentioning, like, they're playing the best guys they got. And in some instances, against really good teams, it's not going to be good enough. Like, in LSU, that's uncomfortable for LSU fans because you're not used to it, but, like, that's the hand that this team right now has been dealt. And they'll get better. So, but yeah, like, can LSU go to Gainesville and win? Absolutely. Can LSU win at home against Ole Miss? Yeah. Vanderbilt was beating Ole Miss in the second half. Yeah. Will they win both those games? Probably not. Can they split them? I'd like to think so. Glenn Laurie, morning, Matt. Did you see the call of the roughing pass against the Falcons? I did. And I saw the ref's explanation after that it was the way they flung Brady to the ground. I'm like, yeah, no. Brutal. Hunter Eilers, good morning, Scone. Do you think we beat Florida? Hunter, I don't know, man. I haven't quite dug deep enough into that matchup yet to tell you I'm ready to make a pick. I do think the matchup this weekend favors LSU better than the Tennessee game. I don't like that you have to go on the road because, as we've said a bunch, it's never easy to go win on the road. So, LSU's a 3-point dog and should be. They should, after last week's performance, the issues that have continued to pop up, your ineptitude on special teams, penalties, you shouldn't be a road favorite in this game. Nicole Havard, what do you think about the Saints-Bengals game? I think the Bengals have looked like a team that's lost their way a bit this year. They lost again last night. I think this game is a coin flip. Let me see. Vegas has it. Cincinnati won. Cincinnati -1. So it's a coin flip. I mean, that may become a pick 'em before the week's over. Cincinnati's a team I think that struggled to find its way, its offensive identity, but so are the Saints. Saints are at home, and it feels like maybe steadied themselves a bit this weekend. When you put up 39 points, it took an otherworldly effort from Taysom Hill, but maybe it took a month for this team to find its footing offensively. I hope so, and if they have, then I think there's definitely plays to be had in this game. It's interesting because Cincinnati isn't really Cincinnati doesn't have a ton of star power on that defense, but they play well as a unit. So, let's see. I'll give you picks as we get closer to the weekend. Let's see. Swamp Saint 57, what's up? Brad, David, Wendell, Norman, Edward O, Morning, Matthew, let's go. Other than BK, what coach has disappointed you the most? Oh, it's Polian, special teams. Juan, good morning. My girlfriend gave me bottle plans as a gift. I think that's marriage material, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. She's going to go hunt that for sure. Brad, do you think the Saints are turning the corner, or do they beat a bad team? Hey, man, Seattle's defense is bad, but their offense has been surprisingly efficient this year. Geno Smith has been one of the biggest surprises of the league. But for the Saints to put up 39 without Michael Thomas, without Jarvis Landry, obviously without Jameis, and then you lose Olave early in the second half. Yeah, man. I mean, that's impressive. When you take those weapons off the field and you still put up 39 in an NFL game, I'd like to think that maybe they found a little something in the offense. Or I mean, maybe it was just Taysom doing Taysom things for a day. But I love seeing Troutman get a touchdown catch. Obviously, Olave's touchdown was incredible. And they ran the ball. I mean, and it wasn't. Look, Kamara had a long catch and run. I think Kamara had like a 50. It was. Let me see. I'm trying to see how long that catch and run was for Kamara. He had 6 catches for 91 yards. Kamara. 6 for 91, long of 54. And and he caught all 6 of his targets. That's the other thing too, right? So you go 6 receptions on 6 targets for 91 yards, average of 15.2 per reception. I'll take that, man. Larry Garner, good morning. Samuel Smith, it seems like LSU coaches don't not scheme receivers open. I guess she's being don't scheme receivers open. Seems like they're always covered, worried about the offense coaches scheming. Yeah, same. I mean, I think that's one of the points that Brian Kelly's made over and over again is that they do have open receivers at times downfield. It's getting the quarterback to pull the trigger. But the other thing too, man, is sometimes you have to fit a ball in a tight window. I mean, on the first possession of the game, you had 3rd and 3, and you ran a slant to Kayshawn, your best receiver, hit him in the helmet. We dropped it. I mean, is that scheme? I mean, you ran a quick slant to your best receiver, the ball was delivered accurately on time, and didn't make the catch. Before the end of the first half, We're going to slant to Jure. And ball hit him in the hands. If he catches it, he scores. Dropped it. I mean, I hear you, but I also think that's become a very convenient fan narrative this year. And I don't necessarily think that it's 100% right. Trivia Carter, Eric Bertrand, good morning. Sean Comiskey, morning, Matt. Hate the Falcons. That roughing the passer on Brady was BS. It was. But you know what it also underscores is still how bad Tampa is. Like, this division's bad. Tampa's not a great team. They can get got. Tyler Lockett, deep balls killed me. How do you let them continuously beat you deep? It's good offense, man, but I'm with you. Brad David, I think Brian Kelly will eventually do well. Why has Lincoln Riley had instant success after taking over a 4-8 team? It's actually really easy because he brought Caleb Williams with him, and he's playing in the Pac-12. I mean, that's not hard. Brad, I don't mean to be like flippant, man, but if Lincoln Riley had gotten the LSU job and had not brought Caleb Williams and was playing the schedule, I think the results might be quite similar to what they are. I mean, Nicholas Cantrell, what's up? Trivia, for some reason this season, Saints and LSU can't win in the same weekend. Casey Smith, how do you mess up victory formation? Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Joseph Feltwell, good morning. Ingram was good for us in past years. I think they should just go Kamara and Hill as our 1-2 punch. Yeah, Joseph, you're not going to do that because you're not going to make Taysom a running back. Part of the thing that works so well with Taysom is whenever he's in that single wing formation, it gives you numbers, right? Because you have to account for the quarterback. So like in a traditional running back set, your defenders in the box, if you count off numbers, be it the offensive line, maybe an H-back or tight end, whatever, quarterback, running back, well, in the single wing, it evens up the numbers to where you're a hat on a hat because the quarterback is the guy who's carrying the ball. So it gives you a numbers advantage. I don't think Taysom as a traditional running back works. Now, to your point, though, about Mark Ingram, I'm with you. Like, I've never been a Mark Ingram fan. I mean, I would have loved for them to have. I mean, I candidly have not looked at like what contract situation would have been, salary cap, everything, but I would have loved for them to have like cut Mark Ingram and retained Latavius Murray and gone Murray, Kamara. If you're going to go with a veteran back, Murray was better than Ingram. Kenyon Hudson, Gino was throwing dimes. He was. Gino's been really, really good. Let's see, do you think if McMahon was special teams coordinator, it would make any difference, or would it still be same issues? Of course, I think it would make a difference. I mean, LSU was darn near flawless on special teams throughout his time here. Strong side, good morning, Scone. Hope you and the family doing well. Thank you. Alan Black, Tier 1 Solutions, good morning. Coaching better hurts recruiting, doesn't it? I don't know what that means. Sorry. Coaching better hurts recruiting, doesn't. I don't know what that means. Gregory, Dad had a dream Saturday night. LSU goes 6-6, heads to the New Orleans Bowl, loses to Tulane in the Superdome. Yeah, so that's just not possible, Gregory, for an SEC team to play in the New Orleans Bowl. So don't sweat it. Not even doable. Weston Weaver, good morning. Do you think what the Saints did yesterday is sustainable? You chalk it up to subpar Seahawks defense. So I think there's two parts to that. Do I think Taysom Hill is going to have a game where he runs for 3 touchdowns and throws for 1 consistently? No, I don't. I don't think that is sustainable. Taysom Hill is a very good player, is sustainable because we've seen it throughout his time in New Orleans. And I think what you saw, more importantly, is Alvin Kamara get going, Taysom Hill get going, an efficient passing game. You protected your quarterback. Andy Dalton, 16 of 24 for 187, a touchdown and a pick. Not amazing, but good enough to distribute the ball. Kamara, you had 2 running backs go over. Hill ran 9 times for 112, but Kamara ran 23 times for 103. one of the things we've talked about forever and ever and ever with Sean Payton's teams is, and Mike to tell you throughout the stat forever, but it's it's the Saints record when they run the ball 30 times or more. And it's some ungodly percentage. They win like 90-something% of the time. Yesterday, the Saints ran it 48 times. They threw it 25. They ran it 48 times and scored 39 points. I mean, sometimes you've got to be willing to commit to what your strength is, and you invest so much in the offensive line and in guys like Alvin Kamara that, you need to be able to run the football. YouTube, smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Is always brought to you by Brock, Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Give us a shout at Hudco. We'd love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. The Hudco link is pinned right there in the comments. Where are we? Don Jolibois, good morning. Landry, good morning. Jonathan O'Neill. Craig Dugas, Florida Hate Week is a way of life. Don't let this distract you from the fact we should hate Florida. It should be Florida Hate Week every week. Matthew Garter, good morning. Had a great time with the game yesterday. First Saints game. Okay. Happy to be back in LA for the weekend. Richie Burt, will Brian Kelly assume more of the special teams duties again this week? I don't know. We'll talk to Brian Kelly noon today. And, there's several things that I'm going to ask him as long as I can get the mic a few times. But, We'll talk about special teams. We'll talk about Harold Perkins. There's a lot we got to get to. David Tolson, Craig Dugas, did you see a certain local paper print media doing a hit piece on Kelly being on the hot seat? I did not. Stephen Dufour, Jerome Boger's crew called roughing the passer against the Falcons. That was same crew they called BS roughing on the Saints when they hit Tannehill. Consistently terrible crew. Michael Thacker, morning, Scone. Any added fuel to the fire facing Napier Raymond? I don't think so. I think that's probably more of a fan. Hang on one second. My apologies. Drew's backpack's beeping. Hang on one second. I'll give you this musical interlude.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is Hudco.
Call Hudco Roofing.
364.
1007.
Okay. I think a lot of the players will be happy to see Corey, quite honestly. I don't think many of the LSU players even know Billy Napier, so probably don't care at all. So probably more of a fan thing, honestly, than a player thing. Kelly Presley, good morning. How's Erica? Thanks for asking this. She's doing better. Erica, for those who she had an allergic reaction to something. Her eye was red and puffy under. I mean, it was like a big anyway. And then she had splotches on her face. Her lips were numb. So she went to urgent care. They gave her like a triple dose of prednisone, and so she kind of slept it off a little bit yesterday, and I think is doing a little bit better. So thank you for asking. They don't know what caused the reaction. So Sean Berthelot, Lacer Lattimore's injury. Yeah, I mean that's another big concern we haven't talked about yet. Is Lattimore had an abdominal injury. Dennis Allen will have a conference call with the media later today, so maybe we'll get an update on Lattimore. But would probably know best by midweek. I mean, when you hear an abdominal injury, you're just like, oh man, like my brain goes to, I don't want to say it, but like the Miles Brennan abdominal injury, and hopefully that's not it. Darren Gagnon, morning, Matt. Saints need to pass wherever Eli Apple is on the field Sunday. Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to get a nice chorus of boos. After we beat Florida, will Hanny stop pushing Napier? I know Kelly's playing the best player he has. I don't see them playing with the same physicality and focus that we are accustomed to in my eyes. Brian, you'll have to be more specific, man. Like I know you hung around long enough here that you know that I don't like generalities like that. So to say they're not playing with physicality and focus, I mean, Greg Brooks, like, stuffing the ball carrier and causing a fumble on a 3rd and 4 seems like physicality and focus. I don't know what you really mean. They pegged Emory Jones for a holding call when he probably would have had a pancake block, and the defender just kind of flailed his arm, and so they got him for a hold on a play where LSU had a 10-yard run, and it was a run where John Emery, by the way, was just bowling over people for 10 yards. Y'all remember the play? So, I mean, I hear you, but give me an example, because that's not one thing that I would point to and say that's the problem. The thing that I would point to and say is you don't have Hendon Hooker. Whenever they threw the 45-yard touchdown deep to Hyatt, you just don't have Derek Stingley running with their best receiver. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I think the thing that bothers me more with the LSU team is consistently having the mental mistake penalties. Brian Kelly's talked about it. It's like some of his best teams have been the most penalized, but if they're penalties of aggression, that's one thing. It's another thing where you get an illegal substitution. You get the unnecessary roughness. You get a false start. Like, those are the types of things where it's like, come on, man. Like, you're not a good enough team to be able to consistently overcome things like that. Against Mississippi State, they had promising opening drive, had 2 procedure penalties on the opening drive, which put you behind the sticks and ultimately you punt it. You know what I mean? Like, those are the types of things on this team that drive me crazy, because those are controllable, and you're not good enough to consistently overcome those things. Matt McGuire, bonus gun thoughts on Andy Dalton. I thought Andy Dalton yesterday is what Andy Dalton is. He was managed the offense, got you in and out of plays, was pretty accurate at times. Good, not great. I mean, he was, 16 to 24 for $187, touchdown and a pick. Thought the pick was bad. But I think mostly the most important thing is we sacked one time. I mean, they kept him upright. In the first few weeks, you faced some of the better pass rushing defenses in the league, and hopefully your offense has come through that. Your line's going to play better, and you keep them upright. And if you are, you're able to function through your offense better. All right. Craig Straw, I thought this meeting they had was about trusting receivers. O-line has to help that issue. Jeremy Hoskins, is Booty really our best receiver as of now? Well, I mean, obviously Malik Neighbors has been your most productive receiver this year. But if you're just talking about physical ability and talent, yes. I mean, there's a reason Kayshawn's still going to be a first-round pick. The touchdown reception he had at the end of the game was incredible. It was a high throw. It was an NFL catch. Elevated, caught it, got 2 feet down. I mean, in traffic. It was a great catch. Let's see. Stephen Dufour, I know you don't like to be overly critical of kids, but what is Booty's deal? His body language is terrible. It looks frustrated when he's not getting targets. See, again, Stephen, I asked Brian Kelly that question last week, and he completely debunked what you said. And again, this is the kind of thing that does bother me, because you are making general assumptions based on tiny tidbits of things you think you see on a broadcast to fit your narrative. That he's disengaged, that his body language stinks, and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what do you want a kid to do? Like, you're losing 40-13. You want him to run off the field and fist pump and slap everybody on the behind? I mean, what do you are you holding that same standard to every other player on the team? That's why I have a problem with it. It's like you say his body language is bad, he's got a bad attitude. It just, that has become a fan narrative that none of you know anything actually that's going on internally. And you've convinced yourself of that. So anything you see that fits that narrative, you buy into. how many times did you watch Kayshawn run routes where he didn't get the ball but was running full speed? Probably not any during the game, I'm guessing, because that's not going to fit your narrative. So again, I'm not completely absolving him saying he's been awesome, but what I am saying is, for the millionth time, I'll tell you this: everyone I've asked, who's a coach on that team, who plays on that team, who's internally involved, nobody has told me that he's been a bad locker room guy. Nobody. So I have people who are there every day saying, and Brian Kelly publicly last week saying he's doing everything right. He's being a great teammate. Does he want the ball more? Of course he does. We want to get him the ball more. But at the same time, he's doing everything we asked him to do. He's committed. He's running a great route. All this stuff. And then I have fans saying he's disengaged. He's a bad locker room guy. There's a contrast. The people who are there are saying one thing, and externally, fans who have convinced themselves of this narrative are saying the other thing that completely contradicts. Well, who do you think I'm going to believe? I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to believe the people that are there around him every single day. So, I don't know. Randy, Lorman, Matt, what'd you think of the last play call with A&M? I thought it was a terrible play call. By the way, there was a video, it's really cool actually, of Nick Saban on a telestrator diagramming what they did defensively on the last play, and it was really interesting. I mean, it goes to show you just how high level every thought is on what they're doing. So, yeah, it's a terrible play call, especially when you have an athletic quarterback. You have to give him a run pass option. I mean, you've got to give him multiple options, not just a single route to the right side. Jerry Fontenot, morning. I didn't see the game in Naples with hurricane relief supplies. All right, Jerry, good on you, man. Doing good work down there. God bless you. Brent Dugas, Brian Wynn. Any Chuck or Joel sightings? Sorry, man, I don't get it. Tyler, I'm by no means a Nuss fan. I think clearly there is a reason he's in starting over Daniels. What point you see what someone else can do? Tyler, did you hear Brian Kelly after the game? He said, I thought the quarterback was one of the bright spots of our offense today, and he's not wrong. Please tell me, again, you want to go through it? Let's see. LSU's first possession, Jack Besh muffed the kickoff. Second possession, you have 3rd and 3, quick slant to Kayshawn Boutte. Jay Daniels put it right in his face mask, dropped it. That's not Jay Daniels' fault. Third possession, you actually put together a really nice drive, except you had an illegal substitution on 3rd and 8, still converted a 3rd and 13, Besh for 14 yards. 7-yarder to Boutte, got you another first down. Jaden Daniels ran for 8. They grabbed his face mask. That's when they ripped around, gave you another 15. You're in the red zone. They run John Emery twice on 3rd and 8. Jaden Daniels runs for 4 yards. You got 4th and 4. You go for it instead of kicking the field goal. And Kayshawn Boutte trips over Emery Jones, pops up. They throw it to him, and he's short. Was that your quarterback's fault? Now let's go to the next drive. You convert a 3rd and 8. Beautiful pass to Malik Neighbors. On first down was Emery's tough 10-yard run, but they call it holding on Emery Jones. Now you got 1st and 20. This is where you ended up with. You ended up with a 4th and 1 around midfield, and Josh Williams got stuffed. Let's see. Next drive. You have a 3rd and 10, Malik Neighbors. You completed for 15 yards. Face mask adds on to that. You end up with 3rd and 4. They come with an all-out blitz, and overall your offensive line sacked the quarterback. I mean, you want me to keep going? You want me to keep going? I just don't know what. I mean, you all have convinced yourselves of something that. Again, I'll go back to the very beginning of the season. LSU is not a great football team this year. There's no other way to say it. You're not a great team. So and you're not used to this because you're used to being able to win every game you play. And that should be the reality at LSU. It's not the reality for this team. They're not going to be able to win every game they play. So you're going to have days, hopefully not many like that, The Bama game may be like that, especially if Bryce Young is playing. Or maybe LSU plays outside its mind and has a great game in Tiger Stadium that night and it's awesome, whatever, maybe. But, like, the only reason that, like, this team has a formula to be competitive. Where they are good, largely, is on defense. And the offense largely runs through a quarterback who's able to make plays with his feet. And when he's not being completely overwhelmed by a pass rush, try to get the ball out to receivers in the short and intermediate game. That's basically what they are. And you continue to have to overcome special teams mistakes, and a day where you gave up 40 and you muffed a kickoff. And I mean, look, if you looked at that, I guess my point is this. If you looked at that game on Saturday and you thought quarterback was the problem, then we're just watching a different game. Because I just went through the entire half of possessions and saw a lot of bad, and not much of it, if any, could you point directly at the quarterback and say, man, he stinks because of that. David Tolson, I know Tennessee travels well. How did they get so many tickets? They sounded really loud at the game. Yeah, they had a lot to cheer about. And I think a lot of fans made the trip. Jeff McKithen, what's up, man? Yeah, I think we talked about this yesterday. You know, when you only come, like, a lot of opposing fan bases want to come to Baton Rouge. I mean, Tiger Stadium is this, you know, odd venue, and people want to come see a game there. And Tennessee hasn't had an opportunity for 12 years. So, yeah, a lot of people circle that and make the trip. You know, same as when, like, the next time LSU goes to Georgia, I'm sure a ton of LSU fans are going to make that trip because it's been a minute since LSU's been there. So, I mean, Georgia played here in 18. But shoot, LSU hasn't played at Georgia since 2009. Is that right? I don't think LSU's played at Georgia since 2009. Unless if there's one I'm forgetting somewhere mixed in. I think that game where A.J. Green caught the touchdown pass and they popped him for celebrating, and then Charles Scott, who had the long return. I think that's the last time LSU played Georgia in Athens. So I guess my point is, like, sometimes you have that type of game, which is a novelty because you never get to see it, so fans travel. And this just happened to be a game where obviously Tennessee was really good and won. All right, y'all. Smash that like button, please, if you would. So I got 120 watching there on YouTube. Drew's off of school today, so that's why we're not hustling out of here. So I got him for the morning. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. They are open, of course. You need an orthopedist, go see Brock. All the subspecialties, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Dom Tomasino, after the Nola no call, I don't care about the refs blowing calls on other teams. Let's see. Jeff, what's good, man? Bradley Davis, do you roll with Dalton moving forward? You know, Bradley, I'll say TBD. Like, let me see what a healthy Jameis Winston looks like. Now, my guess is when Jameis is healthy, they're going to play him. But I would not play him until he is healthy. Let's see. Matt, do you think we can get a Traquan Smith mini rant? Is it true there were 55 recruits at the game Saturday? Don't know. Football is a quarterback-centric game. LSU doesn't have one. Okay. Trivia, I might be tripping, but is Jameis about to lose QB1? So what Dennis Allen has said the opposite, that Jameis is the quarterback when he's back, that he's not going to lose his job due to injury. I'd also want to see here's what I think is the fair comment. I want to see what a healthy Jameis looks like over the course of a season. Like last year to start the season, they handled him with kid gloves early, but they were 5-2, and he was functioning fine within the offense. I would love to see what a healthy Jameis looks like in this offense. But now it's fair to say, are you ever going to see a healthy Jameis? Because last year he tore his ACL, now he has a broken back. It's like, at some point, you've got to be able to see it because you need to make a decision what you're going to do for the future of your team, franchise, offense, etc., right? Scone, the Hudco jam didn't get us the W. Still go Tigers. Brian Williams, the Put in Nussmeyer talk started before we even got to the second quarter. Blows my mind. He's not the answer right now. Rowe, 100 degrees. Do you think Carmichael wants to be OC? Yeah. Jason Mobile, good morning. Ronnie Duga, what to make of the fake punt? Didn't make sense. That was so crazy, man. I mean, I don't know that it was a fake punt. Like, the Seattle punter it was like a rugby style punt. So he's rolling to his right, and he just kept hanging on, and all of a sudden the free rusher came and blasted him, and Taysom got the recovery. It was just a bizarre. I mean, maybe he was just waiting to see if the defense turned and ran, so he would have a seam to run, and just lost track of the free rusher. But man, that was a big play in the game. Jonathan Martin, Leandro Lewis, Dom Morris, Leon Williams, Sean Comiskey. A little concerned that Napier is out for revenge and runs the score up if he can. I don't think he's got the team to run up the score, Sean. I think he's got to more so just be concerned with trying to win a football game. Donovan Peterson, good morning from the Cleveland airport. Okay. Eric Allen, what's up? Lee Hunter, why was Kelly so aggressive in going forward on fourth? Look, he was asked about that after the game, and he kind of felt that he said, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, he said it's kind of what the game dictated, felt they needed to be aggressive against this team. And I think it got them out of their game, quite honestly. I hated the decision to go forward on 4th and 4. Thought they should have taken the 3. Said that in real time. The 4th and 1 at midfield, I sort of understand because of the down and distance. And remember, they called the deep shot to play before, which Jaden didn't take. And that's when Kelly got upset, because I think he knew they were going forward on 4th and 1, but he wanted him to take a deep shot. Yeah, man. Tough day. Trivia, be honest, is it worth my time to watch LSU? Of course it is. I mean, if that's your team that you pull for, you're going to watch them go through the progression of building up a program again. It's when you climb the mountain, reaching the summit means so much more because you know what the climb took. Like, it's the destination is always so much better when you know when you went through the journey. I mean, that's why, you know, if you were born a Bama fan right now, like, you have no concept of what it's like to struggle as a fan, you know, to watch your team struggle. But man, it's why, like, the 2003 championship is probably still, I mean, well, 2019 was incredible just to watch that whole thing unfold. But, like, you know, 2003 was so euphoric because, man, as LSU fans, we never thought we'd see LSU win a championship. That just felt like forbidden fruit. You know, I mean, it had been 45 years since LSU won a title. It just felt like, man, they weren't playing the same game as those elite teams. And so, you know, to climb that hill and to win it was just incredible, you know? So, yeah, is it worth your time? Of course it is. Because another year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, when the roster's built back up, you'll have this as a comparison to say, look how far you've come. Let's see. Lee Hunter, did you hear about... Sorry, I tapped the screen and I think they all scroll to the end. Did you hear about EMP on Tennessee sideline? Somebody texted me that. I thought that was a joke. That can't be serious, right? Please release Traquan Smith. Can we sign someone else? Why are you going to trigger Matt on a Monday morning? Can't we all just get along? Eric Bertrand bought a Taysom jersey out of pure impulse last night. Spurge, what's good? Bayou Bengal 2988. Coaches can say what they want about Booty, but he is definitely a letdown. The expectations were much greater for him this year. There's no question. But nobody within the passing game is having a great season. And if teams continue to commit resources to doubling Kayshon Boutte, it's going to leave other guys open, which is why you're seeing Malik Neighbors have a nice year, which is good to see. But receiver is the only position on the field where somebody else dictates your success. If the quarterback does not throw it to you, then you cannot make a play. You know what I mean? So I hear you. I would love to have seen a giant breakout year. What it is, man. Cody Kibido, I agree, Matt, said this team was going to be between 6 and 8 wins. They seem on track to do that. That's about right. Pray for Olave. Yeah, man, that was... Boy, the guy was holding his hands and slammed his head on the ground. I mean, there was just no bracing for that impact. Oh, thank you, Jonathan Martin. That's absolutely right. 2013, they played in Athens. That was the Mettenberger game. It was like 45 to whatever it was. That's right. Thank you. Yep. Great game, too. People don't understand the game. Will always blame the coach or quarterback, just whatever skill position they choose to blame. Add to that a little success in the top 25 ranking, they become experts. Strong side notice this weekend LSU baseball doesn't play Florida or Vanderbilt next season. Yeah, you always miss 2 teams from the other division, but they do get Tennessee coming to Baton Rouge, which should be fun. Is it time to call it on Deontay Hardy? Dude who's driving me. He got hurt yesterday too? What week do you think Jameis will be back? I don't know, Taj. I don't even want to speculate. I don't know. I have no idea. Joseph felt well. Will you be able to pull against Burrow this week? Yes, with ease. Absolutely. That's not even a question. I've talked about this for months. I wanted this game, the Saints-Bengals game, to be the London game. Because initially there were reports it was. Because I don't want to... I'm going to be furious on Sunday when I see 10, 20,000 LSU fans with Burrow and Chase jerseys in the Dome making a Saints home game feel like a 50-50 crowd. So will I be able to cheer against Burrow? Yes, because I don't give a crap about the Cincinnati Bengals. Not one iota. I've never cared about the Bengals. I don't care about the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I want them to win. But if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase left the Bengals tomorrow and went to the Jets, guess who I would cheer for whenever those guys took the field? That's it. I'm a Saints fan over everything else. I want the Saints to win every game they play. I want the Saints to beat Burrow and the Bengals by 1,000,000 on Sunday. Period. It's going to annoy me to no end on Sunday watching Louisiana people cheering against the Saints on Sunday. You want to piss me off this week? That's how you piss me off this week. Better just not say anything. Bubba Smith, good morning. Jared Blanchard, Tennessee can enjoy their single season of glory, eventual return to mediocrity. I don't know about that, Jared. I mean, and I'll tell you why. Heupel, pretty clearly is a good coach. And Tennessee is pot committed on the NIL front, right? And so, man, if you are that committed to putting together great classes again, then, boy, there's, there's reason to believe that this isn't fluky, Rick Hauk, Dennis Greens, they are who we thought they were. Rant comes to mind. They are. Leon G, LSU is gelling this season. 8-4 is a great year. We'll see if they get to 8-4. If they get to 8-4, that'd be phenomenal. Already with 2 losses, and you assume a loss to Bama, that means you would lose. You still with Florida, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas A&M. You would go 3-1 in those games. That would be a tremendously surprising season if they hit that. Caldwell, how do you overcome muffing punts and kickoffs? I'm with you, man. Craig Straw, Tennessee couldn't have gotten more breaks in that game. We didn't play well. On to the next. Yeah, look, man, here's the thing. I picked Tennessee to win. I didn't think it would be 40-13. And if you play that game 10 times, you probably get that result once or twice. Like where Tennessee wins like by 3 touchdowns, right? So 4 touchdowns. But a lot of it was that stuff. You muff a punt, you'd pass on a field goal, you go for 4th down, you get stuff. Like a lot of that stuff got you out of your rhythm and timing and tempo, and you gave them, to their credit, they're very good and they took advantage of it, but you gave them a good team other opportunities, which let them build the lead. And you weren't able to really run the ball because then you had to throw to kind of play catch up, and they knew you were going to do it, so then they brought pressure, and they sacked Daniels, was it 5 times, 9 TFLs. I mean, it was just that kind of day. Stanley Reed, what do you think of Brian Kelly in this game in general? I may have missed your thoughts earlier. Yeah, I think he got outcoached badly. I mean, I thought from the opening kickoff, electing to receive was a mistake. Going for it on 4th down 3 times, going 0 for 3, passing on the field goal early was a mistake. I mean, when you look at a game like that, a result like that, you point to coaching, because unless if you have a roster where one team is just so drastically better than another. I mean, look, the Vegas spread was 2 points. You lost by 4 touchdowns. Like, that's preparation, that's coaching, that's all that stuff. In-game decisions, yes. I mean, that Tennessee's a better football team, but they're not 4 touchdowns better than you. That's the reason they won by that margin is coaching. All right, let's see. Kyle DeVille said you have Besh and Jenkins open most of the time, and Daniels will not throw at all of them. That's funny because on the final possession of the first half, they hit Jure for a 22-yarder on the first play, went right back to him on the slant. He dropped it. Would have been a touchdown, but they never throw to him right. I don't want to call out names, but you want to go back to Auburn, first possession, 3rd and 10. Mason Taylor, drop. He had 6 drops in the Auburn game, including one by Besh and Neighbors. I don't need to revisit all that, but anyway. Kyle, I'll say the thing again. Like, you say you had Besh and Jenkins open most of the time. Okay, that's a generality that you obviously don't have proven. That's a play, maybe you saw 2 plays that you saw where someone had some separation and didn't get the ball. I'll say again what I've continued to say is that your receivers are supposed to be the strongest part of your team. Catch the ball. Elevate the quarterback. Make a tough catch. Throws a little behind you, but you get 2 hands on it, catch it. Move the chains. And the opposite is happening with this receiver group. And it's not, that's why like some of y'all are crapping on Kayshawn. It's not just Kayshawn. I mean, it's all of them at different times this year. From Malik and Besh and Jure and Mason Taylor. I mean, it's all of them. And Kayshawn. I mean, the 3rd and 3 on the first possession. Threw a slant to Kayshawn. I dropped it. Catch the ball. You want to be a first-round pick? Catch the ball. But it's all of them. Kale Reynolds, can we please give up the number 7 tradition? I'm with you. I think jersey numbers are stupid anyway. I mean, the whole passing of the jersey numbers, whatever. If it means something to the players, cool. I don't care. If they did away with that and never did it again, I'd be totally fine with it. Forrest Wilkinson, do you think we've seen enough from Dalton to keep him as a starter? No. I mean, I don't. Again, like I want to see, and here's a big part of why. I know Andy Dalton isn't the future of the Saints organization. Okay, 27-year-old Jameis Winston could be for the next half decade. I need to see him healthy, what he looks like, to make a determination if after the 2-year contract he signed, if you want to extend him to be your guy, or if you need to start looking at other things. Like Andy Dalton is serving the purpose right now of what he was brought to be, which is if you had a quarterback injury issue like you had each of the last 3 years, when you had to go to Teddy Bridgewater, when you had to go to, this was Taysom, and then last year with Simeon, that's why Dalton's here for this exact instance. If you had a quarterback, keep veteran guy, started 150 games in his career, keep the train on the tracks, function through the offense, but also know that guy's not the future of the organization. So I need to see Jameis, because I need to know if they feel like they can commit to him beyond the 2-year contract he signed. Does that make sense? All right, y'all. Chet Buxton, what if I wear my LSU Burrow jersey underneath my Matthew Saints jersey? Did you end up buying a Trevor Penny jersey? I didn't. I should, though. I can't tell you the last time I bought a jersey. I know when I did I love Trevor Penny. I was like, I'm going to buy a jersey. I never did, though. What if I buy a jersey? Is that a good compromise? Smoke, will Olave play next week? Don't know. Obviously, he's going to be in the concussion protocol. Dude went unconscious yesterday on the field. Cody Bujo retiring jerseys is even dumber in my opinion. I don't know. I'd like honoring that. Whenever you think of that number associated with an organization, it should only be that player. I think that's a cool way to honor people. Smoke, I still think Winston can be that guy. He has to no other option. David Tolson, how do you like the all-white uniforms? Absolutely hate them. Wish they would burn them and never bring them back again. Let's see. Where are we? Jared Blanchard, was Taysom that good, or was Seattle's defense that bad? Hey, Jared, I'm going to tell you what, bro. In the NFL, when you're ripping off 60-yard runs and you're bullying over people, and come on, man. That's a day where you tip your cap and you go, man, that dude was just on a different level today. This isn't like biddy ball where you got 2 kids that actually want to go make a tackle. This is the NFL when everybody's getting paid. You have a day like Taysom had yesterday, you tip your freaking cap because that was awesome. Trey Pontan, good morning. Early thoughts on the Florida game? Yeah, I think it's another coin flip type game. I think what Florida does offensively is better suited for what LSU is really good at defensively, in particular in the front seven. But I think the questions we have about LSU offense are going to persist. Dalton, I'll say 2018 receivers had a ton of drops. The receivers over the offseason worked their butt off to get better. Hope Cortez Hankton gets them more prepared. Yeah. Kyle, that's like saying, Matt, you need to be a better car driver, but never give you the keys. That doesn't really make sense. I'm telling you, when you have the opportunity to make a catch, make the catch. What's hard about that, Kyle? You want to be all these guys want to be NFL receivers. All of them want to be NFL receivers. When the ball comes to you and hits you in the hands, catch it. That is the literal definition of the position. All right, I think we're just about done, y'all. But an hour-long morning Scone on a Monday. That's what happens when Drew doesn't have school and I have to watch him all morning. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. As always, appreciate y'all. YouTube, please smash that like button if you would. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You know where to find them, brortho.com, brortho.com. So much community involvement as well, like the Friday Night Clinic. It's a free clinic where any high school football player can go get a free medical evaluation at Brock on Friday night after the game. So shout out to them for doing awesome work for a lot of years. I think it's about 30 years they've been doing the free clinic. They were doing that when I was playing. Of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco is pinned in the chat there on Facebook and on YouTube. Would love it, man, if you would just take a quick second, click that link, fill out the form on the homepage. We'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. The whole state of Louisiana, no matter where you are in the state, will come to you. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. See you. Peace.